Who even understands taxes? To understand taxes, we can go back in time and see where they started and how they became what they are today. So where do we start? Ancient Rome, perhaps? No? How about the early 1800s? In the United States, taxes were collected in the form of tariffs, as well as public land sales. A tariff is a tax on imported goods. Goods like vegetables, clothes, leather, auto parts, tires, shoes, sugar, even tuna. Once an item is bought by a company here in the US from another company in another country, the government fees the American company for buying elsewhere rather than the US. This is used as a method of trade restriction. So sellers raise the market price of the item to get back what they paid the government. In the early 1800s, the government owned all public land and would sell it to farmers in certain acreage ranging from 320 to 40 acres. In the year 1800, 320 acres was worth $2, but the government would tack on a $6 fee or tax for processing. In the year 1820, land became tax exempt, and many took advantage and bought land, and even then the government was able to rake in cash, because everybody was buying land, and at this time there was no such thing as an income tax. So when does income tax come into play? First off, an income tax is the percentage of a person's income that the government can claim. This can vary from person to person as well as state to state. But compared to state taxes, everyone pays a federal income tax, which is stated in the 16th Amendment. It states that the government has the right to claim that money. In the early 20th century, when this happened, tariffs decreased. The government collected on how much people made instead of what they spent on. In the World War I era, tariffs increased again, and some even wanted a cap for tax rates at 10%, but no one ever thought they would go higher than that. So today, when you start a job, you fill out a W-4, stating marital status as well as any dependents. This is taken into consideration when they decide how much they will take. Employers hold that percentage of your income and send it to the government, either it be weekly or bi-weekly. So tax season isn't the only time we pay taxes. Self-employed persons put that money in the bank where the government can also collect from the interest. Come tax season, Form 1040 decides whether you pay too much and get a refund, or didn't pay enough and have to pay more. This is also when you fill out your deductions. These include interest on mortgage payments, children, educational costs, and even donations to charity. So in practice, how do taxes affect our decisions? In Tyler Cohen's Principles of Microeconomics, we can see this. Taxes create revenue for the government, shown in Figure 1 as square, MLKN. Without the tariff, you can expect that world supply would increase, less people would want to buy. This can slow down the economy. We pay commodity taxes on things like fuel, liquor, cigarettes, and food. The government gets their money no matter who pays. But how does it affect the markets? We can see in Figure 2 that a tax on the seller raises the supply curve up by the tax, so demand goes down at every price. So supply price goes up and demand goes down. In Figure 3, when a tax is placed on the buyer, it lowers the demand curve down. So demand down, supply down. Both are similar in that the market equilibrium gets shifted by the tax, which can create deadweight loss by taxes, money that no one will receive. We can see how both parties are affected. So to recap everything, taxes started with the birth of the country. Tariffs and land sales was how the government funded itself. Later on, when the income tax was started, the government could then make money from that. We went through the basics of filing taxes and how the taxes affect markets. So with this simple background lesson, we can start to understand how taxes work.